Hello and welcome to week 38 of the Pocket Stylist podcast. Now, we are running up to Christmas. So this is going to be an amazing conversation all about the Christmas Day outfit, the Christmas party outfit, but more importantly about how you're feeling about it. So we'll get into that in a little bit more. But I'm joined today by Helen Goad, and she's better known as the Anxiety Slayer. So hello, Helen, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here. And yes, thank you for this. This is my first ever podcast. So thank you for breaking the ice.
Oh, brilliant. You know, it's going to be great fun because when I looked at the date, when we discussed you coming on the podcast, I looked at the date and I thought, okay. So it's the 9th of December. Now, at this point, we're running up to Christmas, but we're also running up to New Year. And it made me think, because in my world, I already know there's this little bit of a hubbub and a discussion and all that type of thing relating to the invitation that's just landed of there's a drinks party, or the invitation that's landed of, this year we're going to get together and the mums, the school mums are going to go out for, that Christmas meal. And then there's also New Year's Eve. That's another one that's coming up. So Helen, in your experience, what starts to go through people's minds in the work that you've obviously done and the people that you've come into contact with those kind of invitations that are landing in emails and text messages and all that type of thing?
Yeah, it's true. That sudden stomach flip moment of, oh my goodness me. I've got that invite. You kind of know it's coming or it could be coming, but suddenly it then becomes absolutely real. And that stomach flip moment of, oh my goodness me, what am I going to wear? What am I going to do? Is it going to be okay? But not maybe just what you're going to wear as well, but what are people going to think of me? If I put that dress on, will that go down okay? Should I dull it down and just wear trousers and a top? All that sort of thing that starts to go through people. And often these are triggers not only for what's going on in that actual moment, but often it's a trigger from something in people's pasts as well. So say, for example, they've gone along to maybe a Christmas event that went a bit wrong and it got embarrassing. Big style embarrassing. Suddenly that old brain of theirs is now being triggered and all that embarrassment is coming whoosh straight through in that moment of, oh my goodness me, can I do this? Can I do this? And in some scenarios and some situations, they won't be aware of that. They won't remember bits and bobs that have happened and that have gone on. And also it could be that they wore a dress one day that they felt really good in. Maybe it was a little bit more revealing that they would normally wear. And a lot of people went, you look great, you look fantastic, you look fantastic, oh wow, that really suits you. But you get that one person that says something really quite yucky. And you could have 100 people tell you look fantastic, but that one person that says, oh, that colour doesn't suit you, oh, that's a bit too short, oh, you're showing a bit too much skin there, whatever it might be.
That's the one you remember, don't you?
Exactly. And that's the one thing that the brain picks up on and goes whoosh straight back in any moment or any situation of what's going on. And the old brain of ours, when I talk about the brain, the old brain of ours has no sense of time. So it doesn't have the ability to go, that happened 10 years ago, that happened 20 years ago. All of those sort of triggers are whoosh in that moment and in that real discomfort of, oh heck, what am I going to do here?
They say, don't they, that, a lot of the things we have and the feelings we have, we don't, like you said, we don't even know we have. It goes back years and years and years. And it's only when, we work with experts who know how to pull it out of us that, it's that type of thing. And it's interesting, isn't it? Even when, I work with clients, you can say to them, right, I've chosen you this green dress, for example. And they say, no, I can't wear that. And I say, why not? Oh, no, it reminds me of my school uniform. How many times I've heard that? Because obviously it might relate back to, their school days might not have been that great, or actually the pleated skirt that they had to wear was horrendous and they felt awful in it. So it goes back to that. And, you know, picking up on something else you said, there was a survey done about, oh my goodness, about 2 to 3 years ago that said when that invite lands, you know, when that invite lands, people will find an excuse not to go to that event. And it is predominantly about not who they're going with, not about the people they're meeting, not about the food they're going to eat, but about, oh God, what am I going to wear? And they will decline an invitation. They'll make an excuse, you know, oh, can't get a babysitter, or actually, no, I can't do it. So I think from, you know, and obviously I work with clients on making sure that what they wear is going to give them that confidence, that positive mindset and whatever. But how do we start to identify what that trigger is, and how do people start to, in your expertise, put almost like a coping mechanism in there to allow them to go, okay, yeah, great, the invite's landed, I've got something wonderful to wear because they've found something, or they have something in the wardrobe that's their favourite. How do they start to flip the negative into the positive?
I think the first, it is difficult, like you say, because there could be a life's worth of yuck that's coming through in that moment that they won't necessarily be aware of what's happened and what's going on. And I think the first thing is to be aware of where you feel it in your body. Because where you feel it in your body can be related to different times, but don't worry too much about that. But where you feel it in your body, and what's that feeling really saying? Is that feeling or that thought or that sense or whatever, is it true? Is it really true what it's telling you? You know, I'm not good enough, I don't look good, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not the other. And if you feel that it's true, then argue it. Is it really true? What is it about that? You know, and does it boil down to the fact that you go, actually, my nose looks too big? And I know that sounds sort of really flippant, but, you know, it could boil down to something really, really simple. And then you kind of go, okay, I don't like my, bottom, for example. So therefore, I am going to wear something that actually makes my bottom look comfortable to me, if that makes sense. So that when I look in the mirror, and also I think part of this is as well is going with what you feel is right, not what others tell you, because that's, you know, or if you're going to ask somebody, make sure it's somebody that you really value their input and their side of it, and you can go, yeah, that person is telling me the absolute truth and they are telling me that that doesn't look great, but not from the point of view of being mean and horrible, from the point of view of going, I think you could look better than that. Does that make sense? Yeah,
no, absolutely it does, because what's really interesting is when we look in a mirror, and people will have heard me say this before, when you look in a mirror and when I look in a mirror, or anyone else, right, we see the points that we're not that happy about. It could be, like you said, the big nose. It could be the fact that, you know, people think they've got a big bottom. It could be the fact that their ears feel too big for their head, all that type of thing, right? And then what happens is you get dressed, you go to the event, and someone says, oh, I love your shoes. And you'll be thinking, hang on a minute, why are you not looking at my nose or my ears or my bottom? Do you know what I mean? And that's when what we do, you know, from a styling point of view, it's about accentuating the areas that you love and illusionizing the areas that you don't feel that comfortable with. And that's how it works. And like you said, it goes back to what makes you feel good. And that then goes back to dressing for you, not dressing for somebody else. Don't dress in don't dress in how someone else expects you to look like. Dress according to how you feel and what makes you feel good. And I think then that would start to knock the edge off the anxiety that potentially different situations cause.
And I think also as well is that experimenting, don't leave everything to the last minute. And the more you do something, the more you wear something, the more you try something on, the more you feel comfortable in it and go, yeah, this is good, the more you then trick your brain to go, I'm all right with this. And I know this is going to sound a little bit silly maybe, but for example, if you can imagine it, as far as the old brain is concerned, either A, has happened, or B, will happen. So if you're imagining yourself walk into that party, celebration, whatever it is, tripping and falling over and going, oh, that is exactly what your old brain is thinking is exactly going to happen. So that's going to add into the anxiety. If you can kind of prep yourself, your brain beforehand, going, I'm going to have a great time, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be that, and really look at it in a real positive way. You're, in a sense, tricking your brain and training your brain to go, this is going to be great, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to look fantastic, I'm going to feel blinking brilliant, bring it on, rather than going, oh, this could happen, oh, that could happen, oh, the other could happen. Because the more you kind of think about the negative, the more you're feeding that negative part of your brain to go, oh, don't even bother going, actually. Just stay at home, because it's safe at home, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's your whole body. It listens to you, and it's not just the words that come out of your mouth, it's not just the thoughts, it's your posture as well. And I'm guessing that you may kind of be very much aware of this, because you could put the most fantastic outfit on somebody, if they're all slumped over and they're like, oh, hiding everything, then they're gonna kind of send out this message of, oh my God, I'm really, really not comfortable here, and it's send out a message to the universe of, please don't be nice to me, kind of a thing. But if you open your chest and have your shoulders pulled back and chin up a bit and walk in confidently, you're telling the whole world that you're confident, whether you're feeling that or not, it doesn't matter, but you're telling the whole, but you're also telling your body. You're telling your body that you're confident and that you're walking into this party and you're going to have a blinking great time, sort of a thing.
But people have, you know, and I'm not sure if the listeners can relate to this, that, you know, there's times, isn't there? We've all done it, you know, me included, you know, there might be things that events that I've gone to, or presentations I've gone to do, or parties I've gone to attend, I dread, because it might just be that, oh, I can't be bothered, or, you know, or it's just, I'm just not feeling it, you know. But it's normally the ones that you get to and you have the best time ever, because you're surrounded by people that you love being surrounded by. And it's true, isn't it? It's like you said, you know, sometimes we make up our mind before we even leave the house that we're not going to enjoy it, and then actually when we get there we go, this is okay, the food's nice and the company's good, or whether it's a family event or Christmas Day, you haven't burnt the potatoes, and you know, isn't it? It's all that type of thing. But you are so right. And you know, I was going to say to you when you were talking, when people wear clothes that make them feel good, that goes back to the reason why people wear 80% of their wardrobe 20% of the time, because what they do, they wear the bits that make them feel good. They tend to avoid the bits that actually when they put it on they might look a bit dull in the face, or the color doesn't suit them so much, or actually it could be a pair of trousers that bags round the hips, or so we tend to wear the clothes we like wearing. That's where it all comes from, that, you know, we wear 20% of our wardrobe 80% of the time, and the rest gets left. And then if you think about it, there will be a certain few garments in your wardrobe you love, and it could be your coat, it could be the handbag you carry, it could be the shoes that you've got on, you know. But people, you know, for those of you who know me, I have a Zara dress which is stunning, and you know, I bought it for a wedding. But it's one of those dresses, if I can't find something, or I don't want to buy anything new because I'm, you know, just working with the wardrobe I've got, if I do any event or I go anywhere, that Zara dress comes out. It's timeless, it's bright, it's colourful, it's got the most stunning print on it, suits my shape to a T, obviously, but it's the one I roll out time after time after time. And that's where, in theory, the whole wardrobe needs to be, that you want to be able to open it up. So, you know, if you planned Christmas Day and then suddenly you get an invite which says Boxing Day, round friends for drinks, you don't go, oh God, because then again, that's where the anxiety comes in, doesn't it? It comes at you like a ton of bricks really fast, because you actually haven't got any time to plan, have you?
And just when you were saying that about that Zara dress of yours, we use something called anchor techniques in the therapy world, where you put an anchor to something that feels absolutely fantastic. And it feels to me that, like that Zara dress for you, is this anchor of feeling great, looking good, bring it on, kind of confidence, everything within it. So the moment you put that on, it's like I can take on the world kind of a feel that sort of you possibly get from that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't just have to be an item of clothing, and I hope that's okay to say, but it might be a piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
That might be a piece of jewelry that you absolutely love, that kind of you just love it, and it has great memories, great everything to it. You can use that with maybe something that feels maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but you know you've got to wear it. Maybe it's a bit more of a, dare I say, more of a flashy type of or a high, whatever, kind of thing you're going along to, where you don't really feel massively comfortable in that. But if you've got a piece of jewelry that feels fantastic, feels great for you, that can be a little bit like an anchor that you go, yeah, but I've got my ring or my necklace or my earrings, and every time you touch them, you get that, sort of feeling kind of about, well.
Helen, explain the anchor, because if people are listening, but you've obviously touched on it quickly. What is the anchor? Just explain it, because people might be able to resonate and take something away with this.
So basically, an anchor is something that has real, I'm going to say positive energy about it, because it could be a thought, it could be feeling, it could be sense, it could be anything, but a real positivity about it. And let's say, for example, you've got someone that does suffer with anxiety, and they have their wedding ring, and you see them playing with their wedding ring. You can kind of anchor in and go, every time that you touch that wedding ring, you're back at that wedding day feeling amazing, looking fantastic, so that every time they touch it, they get this feeling of being there at the wedding. And it might not necessarily be the walking down the aisle bit, it could be the bit afterwards that was part of the fun, the family, the dance. It could be, later on in an evening where it was just that more of a chill time, where everybody's just dancing, laughing, giggling, having great fun, so that every time that ring is touched, she or he is getting straight back to that moment of being on that dance floor, having a great time. And just to take it a slight step further, we've all been in the car, for example, we've listened to the radio, and a song comes on. And in that moment, we're transported straight back to a concert, for example. A concert, we remember who we were with, remember the songs, remember what we were drinking, we remember what we were, everything about it. And suddenly you can see it, you can feel it, you can sense it. You're absolutely in that moment. And that's a little bit like what an anchor is about. That's an anchor of music. It just takes us back. So in that moment, we feel that positivity.
It's a feel-good feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a feel-good feeling, isn't it? It's like, I know it sounds silly, it's like when you said in the car, you hear a piece of music, you go, oh yes, I'm gonna crank that up, because it is, isn't it? It's that feel-good feeling. Or if you're in the house, I know it sounds stupid, right? If you're in the house and you've got the radio on, or you've got, I don't know, anything else playing through your iTunes or whatever, and a song comes on, and even if you're cleaning or if you're hoovering, suddenly you hoover with a little bit of a step in you, don't you? Because it is. And it's really interesting how, people talk about anxiety and people talk about mental health. And I think at the moment, for what the past couple of years have been, it's been a tough old world, for everybody in so many different ways. And I think I love the whole anchor technique thing. I think that's wonderful. And again, it's about, having confidence in whatever shape or form that takes you to go to. Obviously what we're talking about today is like the Christmas events and things like that, but in life it's about using certain things, like whether it be your handbag as a woman, it could be a gentleman with their shoes or something like that. It's about, people laugh. So for those of you who are obviously listening, you can't see my glasses, but my glasses are big and they're bold and they're quite strong. For those watching on YouTube, obviously you can see them, but what's really interesting is when I had my eyes tested, the lady said to me, the optician, right, now you're very petite, I'm only 5 foot, hence the pocket stylist, but you need a very small pair of glasses that matches your face shape. Oh no, I said, no, thank you. If I've got to wear glasses, I'm wearing a pair that makes me feel confident. And I think that's where you can gauge your confidence. If I was given a pair of glasses that I hated, or I didn't feel comfortable in, let's put it that way, I wouldn't wear them. I'd avoid it like the plague, because I'd be like, oh no, it's not really me. Whereas I chuck my glasses on and people say, oh my God, they're so you. And that's where you then gauge your confidence from. So going back to what you
Yes.
said, it's the anchor, it's the, you know, we want people, don't we? You and I want people to go get that invitation and go, okay, that's fine. I want to go, but let's think about it. Let's have a bit of a plan as to what I can wear and how I can feel great for that event. And it, you know, whether you're going to the local pub, like we said with your school mums, or going to a beautiful meal at the Langham in London, you know, it's all about that, isn't it? It's about using what we've got and using the energy in our body to allow us, well, almost to give us permission to enjoy.
Yeah, and I just want to add in just a little, as terrible as this sounds, sorry, it's a bit of a
No,
negative,
go on.
but as awful as it is, if you don't put big girl pants on or big boy pants on, who's listening out there,
Yeah,
you know, the brain has won.
yes.
The brain has won, and when it wins, it's going to keep going down that route. So that one Christmas thing, like you say, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's the mums, whether it's something that's a bit more high flying, whatever the word I want to be,
Yeah.
you know, if you back off, the brain has won. So if you're going to know about whatever it is that's coming up, 9 times out of 10, yeah, like you say, you could get that quick drop in, oh my goodness me, Boxing Day, we've been invited to X, Y, Z. Yes, that could happen. But with a lot of them, you're going to know about it up front. So it's that, being aware of that feeling, notice where you feel that feeling and going, right, okay, let's stamp that feeling. Let's see what I can do to be aware of it, but allow it to not stop you. At the end of the day, and I know this is going to sound really kind of easy for me to say, it is just a feeling. Your brain is seeing something as a threat. And yes, it is a horrible feeling for some. I absolutely get that. But it is seeing something as a threat, and it is seeing it incorrectly. Going out for a meal, a drinks, get together, is not a threat to your survival, but that's what your brain is telling you is going on. So it's saying, stay safe, stay safe. So if you continue to stay safe, then you run the risk of it getting worse and worse and worse, as awful as that sounds. So put the big girl or big boy pants on and do your best to step up, chuck everything at it that you can. Get yourself feeling as positive. Put the music on. Get yourself, if you need to, hoover the house with your great dress on so you get used to how it feels, and you put music on so that it all becomes positives in the brain, so that our old brain has no level of logic whatsoever. So you can trick it. Absolutely, can you trick it? So get yourself set up there, chuck the energy into whatever it is, even if it's a pair of shoes that you go, right, I'm going to walk them in beforehand so that when I walk in there, I am on it, kind of thing. But do a bit of prep. Don't leave it all to that last day. Don't leave it all to that last few hours of getting ready. And when it is come to that last few hours of getting ready, wherever it is, try and plan it so that you've got the time. You've got the time to get yourself feeling, sensing, being the way you want, the music, the hot bath, or whatever it might be. Make it part of your routine so that you feel fabulous when you walk out that door.
And you are so right. And there's a saying, isn't there? If you plan to fail, you fail to... No, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And sometimes, you know, we're all very good at doing it. We all do it. I haven't got time. But actually, sometimes it just takes a couple of minutes. And I just want to add on as well. You know, people sometimes say to me, yeah, but in order to feel good, you know, I need to be able to spend some money on what I'm wearing specifically, or the shoes or the bags. And I say, no. You know, whether you wear Primark or whether you wear Prada, it's how you wear it. It's not where you bought it from. Because honestly, what happens is people put their clothes on. You don't wear the label on the outside. People aren't going to see you on Christmas Day or the New Year's Eve party or the, you know, the mum's meal or whatever and go, oh, that's from Primark. They just don't do it. You know, they look at the person and how they're wearing it. And, you know, a lot of it is, you know, when we all wear our clothes, it's lovely when someone says to us, oh, I like that dress, or where did you get that from? Because again, people don't get it. They look at how you're wearing it and that kind of thing. So I love what you contributed to this podcast. I love it. So before we go, and I am going to put you right on the spot now, Helen, and please don't go, oh my God. What would your top 3 tips be to handle that anxiety when something like that invitation lands?
First thing is to acknowledge it's there.
Okay.
Acknowledge it's there. Be aware of it. Don't try and kind of go, oh, acknowledge it's there. Be aware of it. Be bold and go, right, yeah, I got really yucky feeling in my stomach about this, and it feels horrid. It's a feeling. Yes, it can feel horrendous. Please don't get me wrong. And I absolutely get that. But it is a feeling. And then making that choice of, is this feeling going to stop me from doing what I want to do? And then, you know, in some situations, people might go, actually, that feeling is telling me that this isn't right for me to do. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
because, you know, there may be an invite that you get that actually really isn't right for you to do. And allow yourself to go, yeah, I'm going to listen to this, because it's not just an uncomfortable, it's actually telling me to be wary of whatever it is. So, you know, allow yourself to be aware of it and what's happening, what's going on. And as I said, make that choice of deciding whether or not you're going to push through it. And then it's that, okay, what am I going to do to help me get through this? And that's when it comes to the, I'm going to imagine myself having a fantastic time. I'm going to put on what I'll need to do. I'm going to, you know, do the prep work ready for this, so that it isn't going to go boom in that moment. And whenever anything triggers anything anywhere along the line, again, be aware of it, notice it, sit with it, don't shy away from it, allow yourself to be aware of it. Because when you're aware of it, you're more likely to going to be able to see it coming, if that sort of makes sense. Yeah. There's obviously things like breathing techniques and all that kind of a thing that you can do that can be extremely helpful. I've got a link to a tool that I'm happy to pop you, Lisa, that you can pop to others if need be. I don't know if that's allowed in these things.
No, because what I was going to say to you was, you know, where can people find you? Because obviously you and I've had a wonderful chat, but if anyone has listened and thought, I'd like to know a little bit more about Helen, where can they find you, and how can they, where can they find you and see what you're up to?
So, you can find me Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on LinkedIn. So those are three kind of areas you come across me. If you look for Anxiety Slayer Helen on Instagram, you will find me there. Hypnotherapy Works, if you put that into a search engine and put Hypnotherapy Works Helen Goad, again, you will find me there. So I'm quite easy to sort of be found out there, not too difficult to find. But yes, that's the kind of the best ways. If you have anything that you want to add or ask, feel free to drop in and send me a message. But as I say, I'll pop that link through to you, and then you can pop it to with anything.
On the show notes. Yeah, absolutely. The link will be on the show notes. So if anybody wants to link it up, it will be in the show notes, and you can just click on it. So that's absolutely brilliant. Helen, thank you. It's another one of those topics, isn't it, that we've covered that you could just talk about forever. But I hope for those of you that have listened that you've managed to take away some great tips. The top 3 tips were fantastic. Don't forget the anchor, and honestly, take away from the styling point of view as well, some hints and tips as well. So Helen, thank you so much for coming to join me today. Thank you to everyone who has listened, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, Helen, ever so much, and see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Bye.